What's up, everybody? Thanks for joining us today for a quick demo of Magento Open Source. Today, we'll walk through the basic features of Magento and show you what Magento Open Source has to offer. Later on, we'll do another video more in depth about the differences between Magento Open Source and Magento Commerce and why you'd want to pay for Magento Commerce, as it's a very powerful platform as well. But today, we'll focus on Magento Open Source, walk you through the core features, why you'd want to use it, why you'd not want to use it. There's a lot of powerful features built into Magento, but it's not for everybody. It's definitely too powerful for some stores, and it is perfect for a lot of other ones. That's why a lot of big brands use it, is because of all the core features and because of the flexibility. But we'll get into all of that today. All right, stay tuned. Okay, to start, we'll start on the front end of what Magento has to offer out of the box. So this is the home page of the Magento demo theme. This demo theme is called Luma, and it comes out of the box. We've made no customizations to it. So as soon as you install Magento, this is what you get. And the Luma theme is a great theme. You could use it out of the box, change the logo, change the banners, change the images, obviously, and use the layout. It's very good, kind of a standard practice e-commerce layout, with the logo on the top left, the search bar pretty visible, pretty easy navigation bar, your main banners, some additional banners, which you can control all of this in the administrative panel, your hot sellers, which is a dynamic area, and then your basic footer and your subscription box. So this is the layout that comes out of the box with no customizations to it. It's a nice, clean layout. Honestly, this layout is likely what you'd want to, even if you started coding, what you want to start with, so that you don't have too much, you don't add too much code. This theme is really built minimalistically, so it's a good theme to start off with, even if you're customizing it. Okay, so let's jump into one of the category pages. So we'll click here on women, and so Magento does have a very strong category page with the filtering. So, first to start is it has your standard layout of having a few banners and then having your products down here. You can see it has different color swatches for your different colors. And then you also have your different sizes listed here. So it's showing you all the availability for these products. It shows you your reviews, and it shows you the price as low as. And the price as low as, the reason why they say it here is one of the neat things that Magento has built in is tiered pricing. And so basically they're saying is maybe if you bought one, it would be $40, but if you bought 30 or 100, then you can get it as low as $22. You can also favorite the product and also add it to your compare. But to use these two features, you'll have to be logged into your account or have to create an account to be able to use your favorites and the compare. But you could compare this shirt to another shirt based upon all of the attributes of that product, which we'll walk through as well. So one of the unique things about Magento is the attribute sets, and each type of product is going to have a different type of attribute set. Basically, an attribute set is how you would describe a product. So clothing is going to have a different attribute set as kitchenware, right? So clothing would have your small, medium, large, or your waist size, or your colors, but something like kitchenware would have different attribute sets. It might have material type or metal. It's not going to necessarily have sizes, or at least the same type of sizes. So every type of product will have its own attribute set. But the neat thing is based upon your attribute set, you can decide what the customer can filter on. So for an example, we can filter here on the tops, and then this should bring us to more attributes that we can filter on. So now we can filter on, dig down a little bit deeper to jackets, and then now it's going to break down these jackets into more attributes. So you can see that the style, if it's a jacket, lightweight, hooded, the sizes, small, medium, large, the price ranges, the different colors, the different materials. And so this is all very important. This is called layered navigation. It's a very helpful feature that Magento has out of the box. This is, Magento can handle very complex products and very complex situations. So if you have, thousands or even millions of products and you need your customers to be able to filter through them, based upon sizes or construction type or material type, then they can do that here. And this is a very powerful filtering mechanism that Magento has. Okay, and then let's go ahead and dive into the product page. So we'll click on one of these jackets. And so now this is the product page. Once again, very clean, nice layout. It has multiple images. It has your color swatches. It has your sizes. It has your add to cart and your compare. So all your basic features. It has your reviews built into Magento. The reviews features is good, but they also have partnered with Yotpo. And Yotpo is better about getting reviews and sending email notifications to your customers to ask them for reviews, and has a little bit better layout than Magento. Magento is not bad to start with, but a lot of the things that you're going to see in Magento you can add on to with an extension. So it's a very powerful way to continue to superpower your store or add steroids to your stores to continue to add different things. Okay, so you have your reviews, you have more information. This is kind of your detailed information, and then basic details. So this is your description of the product. And then you also have your breadcrumbs. So home, women's, top. So if you want to back up to the categories and continue shopping. And then down here, you have your related products. And so on the related products, you can manually pick these products, or with Magento Commerce, you can have these automatically picked based upon user behavior, which is a pretty neat feature as well, especially if you have, thousands of SKUs and you don't want to have to manually change these. There is also ways to programmatically do related products, but we'll go into that in a later video. Okay, so from here, we can add this product to our cart. Oh, nope. So it's showing me that we have errors. So I haven't picked our size yet. So it's going to say, hey, these are the required fields. Let's first make sure we can pick our size. We're going to pick a medium. I'm really digging this green one, so we'll pick a green. And then you see how we change these and the images are changing. And then we'll go ahead and add this to our cart. Let's see if that works. It added to the cart. The notification isn't really my favorite usability, so I would prefer to have something either larger, drop down, or actually go to the cart page. It has this little green bar kind of pop down. It's not super noticeable. It's okay. It's fine. It's customizable. So we'll go ahead and click on the shopping cart icon. And then, okay, on the shopping cart, this is kind of your standard shopping cart. It has the picture of the product that you have, your basic description, your price, your quantity, and your subtotal. And then it has the breakdown of your total for all the items here. And then it has your upsells. And the upsells are great too, because you can customize this as well. Depending on what products they add to the cart, you can have different upsells here as well. All right, and so it's pretty basic here. And then we'll go to proceed to checkout. So while this is loading, Magento's checkout isn't the best. And so actually IWD Agency has built their own checkout. And so if you want to check that out, go to our site at iwdagency.com, constantly improving it. But it's been one of the faults of Magento since it started, or one of the usability issues of Magento since it started. So most everybody that uses Magento customizes the checkout just because it isn't that good, right? So it's cumbersome, it's long, it's not one page. It works, it's not necessarily the best usability. Another thing to mention about the Luma theme and about the checkout though, is that it's all responsive. So it does all work with mobile and it does all work with desktop. So that is a benefit of all the pages that I went through, and I forgot to mention, but it does come out of the box mobile ready. So we'll just walk through this here, demo. All right, and then we'll pick a shipping method. Let's go with the free one. To talk about the shipping methods a little bit, they do have some standard methods built in: UPS, USPS. They'll have flat rate. They'll have a table rate, which means for different price points, you can change the shipping. So they have a lot of that built in, and a lot of that is built in based upon so flat rate and table rate just based on basic calculations. But then USPS and UPS is based upon dimensions and weight. So that works great. Once again, if you get into more complex shipping, then there are great extensions to handle that if you're having more complex calculations. But the basic calculations for shipping work well here. And then we'll get into the next page, and then they'll say, hey, what's your payment type? And so we'll talk about payments a little bit here. So Magento does also offer a lot of standard payment gateways to take credit cards. So PayPal, Google Pay, Amazon Pay, Authorize.net, CyberSource, all those are standard gateways. And then most of the other larger gateways have extensions that you can easily install to be able to take different types of credit cards in different types of places for whatever gateway that you'd want to take. So pretty flexible there. We have a little discount code here, and then more order information, and then we're about to place our order. So let's go ahead and place this order and see if this works. All right, so we placed our order. Basic thank you page. So once again, this isn't necessarily the best usability. Ideally, it brings you back to shopping, or at least has some suggested items so that you're not just getting a white page thanking you for your purchase. This is a good opportunity to tease them with something else, right? Tease them with some more products or bring them back to the shopping page. But pretty standard usability there. So that's the basics. There are other pages we could jump into. My account pages, the compare pages, the sign up process. But this is the basics. One other note that I wanted to note here is Magento is very good for international shopping. So it does have the drop downs if you want to switch to US dollars or euros. And then if you have multiple stores or multiple languages, you'd be able to change this here as well. But that's the basics of the Magento front end. Let's go ahead and jump into the back end. All right, so here's the Magento administrative panel. It's kind of overwhelming at first. There's a lot going on, but it's a very powerful tool. So if you're comparing this to Shopify, you might be overwhelmed by how many options and how many features are in it. But if you get into here and you start working with it and playing with it, it isn't that hard. A lot of this stuff you won't use all the time either. So you'll figure out what areas that, if you're managing orders, what areas you'll go into, or if you're managing the store, what areas you'll go into. But it is a more complicated system than Shopify. Shopify does kind of dumb down a lot of the features for you. Magento is a more powerful platform. And, with that being said, Magento is really built for bigger, more serious e-commerce merchants than Shopify. And one of the reasons why it's good for larger merchants is because of the open source nature. So you can customize it as much as you want and as much as you need. And so for bigger businesses that need to customize the functionality, they can do that in Magento, where they can't necessarily do that in Shopify. And then the other thing is the flexibility of being international, multiple stores. There's more complex products. All that kind of stuff adds up. We've done other videos about the big differences between how Magento crushes Shopify for larger merchants, and you should check out that video if you get a chance. But let's just walk through the administrative panel. We'll go through this pretty quickly. If you want more details, we're happy to help you out here. Been doing this for a long time, so there's a lot of intricacies in the administrative panel, but I don't want to bore you to death. So this is the basic dashboard when you log in. You also have it right here as a multiple store view. So if you have a whole bunch of different stores you're managing and you want to just see one of them, you change this here, and that will update your dashboard numbers as well. And then these are your basic sales for the day, your shipping costs, your revenue costs, your tax data, your lifetime sales, and your average order value. Some people, especially larger merchants, they sometimes disable this dashboard just because it does slow down your login time, and they're not necessarily using the dashboard for analytical purposes. So they might have another reporting tool or using Google Analytics, and so they don't want to necessarily slow down their system by loading this dashboard every time. You can also change your homepage when you log in as well, but a lot of people just keep it standard. So we'll walk through the left-hand navigation a little bit. So sales area, this is where you'll manage your orders. Orders, invoices, shipments, credit memos, billing agreements, and transactions. So orders is 90% of the time is where you're gonna go to. You can use all these other areas to get more details, especially even the transaction one, to see what's going on in more details on your store. Okay, so let's jump into the orders page real quick. So on the orders page, this is where, if you're running your store, this is likely where you're going to come into every day, unless you have another order management software that you're going to be using. But this is pretty standard, nothing too surprising here. You're gonna have your list of your orders. You can also see them by store view, especially if you're managing different stores. You can do different ways to add and remove different columns in case you want to customize this layout for your needs or your employees' needs. And then you can export all of the order information too in case you need to build a report here. Then if you jump into a particular order, then it's going to have all your basic information about that order, your order details, the billing information, the shipping information, when they put that order in, what website it came from, the payment methods, and then what products they ordered. And then, as you update this order and ship it, the statuses will be changing from pending to payment processing to shipped to delivered. And so all pretty standard order information stuff. You can add notes here for other people. You can notify the customer of those notes, and you can make it visible for them on the front end if you need to. Okay, so let's look into the catalog. So here you're going to have your products and your categories. We'll jump into the products one. And so once again, all these areas have tons of intricacies, and we could spend an hour on each one. So just going to try to go through this on kind of a high level. We can always do another video and go into more intricacies of each one of them. But kind of the same layout here. You have listed all your products. You have some your default view. You can change your columns. You can change your views depending if you have some different columns or filters that you want to have there. For example, if you just want to see shorts, and that's one of the views that you have. But you can apply all these filters and save them as a view. Then you can, once again, change all your columns as well. So very flexible here. Quick little search box, so you can filter your products based upon a quick search here. Actions, you can do a mass action to, if you selected 30 products, you can delete them, you can change the status, change the attributes. So attributes, once again, is a way to describe different products. So if you want to change all the attributes of a product in mass to weight, let's, for example, you miscalculate the weight or you increasing the pricing, you could do that here. You can update the inventory, you can transfer inventory to different places as well. So yeah, this is your basic table view for your products, all basic information as far as your thumbnail, name, your type of product. And so this is something unique with Magento. There are 6 different types of products in Magento. There's simple product, there's configurable product, there's downloadable product, virtual product, bundle product, and I'm missing one. But basically, it's different ways you can set up products, and it makes Magento very powerful. It's, once again, I could have another 30-minute video just about the product types. If you're interested in that, leave us a comment. I'll make a video about it. But it is one of the cool things about Magento is the different product types. Attribute set, we had mentioned this before, is the attribute is how to describe a product, and the different attribute sets are the types of attributes for that product. And so before you create products, you want to make sure you have the right attribute set. So if you create 1,000 products, you set them up the wrong attribute set, you're going to run into issues, and you're going to likely have to recreate this product. So very important to set these attribute sets up correctly on the get-go. Your SKU, your pricing, quantity available, sellable quantity. So if you only want to sell 90 of the 100, so you keep some in case the inventory is wrong, or you want to keep some in the store, you can do that. The visibility of the product, if it's enabled or not, what website it's used on, and edit button, but you can edit it just by clicking on it. So let's jump into the product real quick. So this is the product detailed page. We're not going to walk through all of this. It's a lot of information. So, but the standard stuff's at the top as far as the product name, the weight, the quantity, what categories it's going to be in, and then just a ton of different information. So once again, I don't want to walk through all of this. This is, once again, as we mentioned, Magento is a lot more complex than Shopify, but it also gives you a lot more options. So you have a ton of options here, and we could walk through all of them, but it would take forever. So there's a ton of options. Just kind of let you look at all the different ones that they have listed here. But there are a lot of things you can do with Magento out of the box. So very powerful product information page. A lot of different options here. We could, if you want a more detailed walkthrough of this, just hit us up or comment in the comments below, and we can make a video about just this page if y'all are interested. Okay, let's jump into the category page. Once again, another cool feature of Magento. It has a very powerful category page section. So this is where you can arrange your different categories. You can add different categories. You can add content to each of the categories. You can change the way their display settings, search engine optimization areas. You're changing the URL, the title tags, all that good stuff. You can change the products in the category by mass, so you can come here and add a whole bunch of products to one category really quickly. You can modify different design layouts, so you can pick, like, if you have a couple different category page layouts, you have one that has more of a banner layout, or if you have one that's more for just a grid layout, or different layouts for different situations, you can change these here. And then you can schedule design updates. So in case you have a big sale, let's just say you have a sale on shorts, Black Friday shorts or something like that, and you want a banner to be updated or you want the layout to be changed, you can actually schedule that here, which is really cool. Okay, so let's jump into the customer view. So the three options that Magento gives you for the customer view is all customers, customers online, and customer groups. Pretty self-explanatory. All customers are going to list all your customers. Customers online are going to be the customers that are currently on your site at that moment. And customer groups is a pretty cool feature in Magento where you can group different customers, give them different discounts, show them different promotions, show them different options inside Magento, which is a really cool, powerful feature of Magento. But let's just peek at the all customers area. Customers even have attributes in Magento where you can say attributes to be of the segment customers. So you can say age, what's their birth date, what's their gender, age range. You could say if they're a wholesale customer, the demographics they have. So Magento also uses the terminology of attributes for customers as well. So you have your standard table view here. If you click on it, then you can modify the customer, which I didn't mean to do. But let's click on the edit button. So when you click on the edit button, you can see all the customer information, the basic customer view, customer information, the account information, the addresses they're using, the orders, what's in their shopping cart. So in case you need to help them check out, you can go see what's in their shopping cart and assist them with the products that they're currently having the shopping cart, which can be useful for your customer service team. Okay, so let's jump into the marketing information real quick. And we won't go through all these tabs because there's a lot of options in here, but they do have some pretty cool features in Magento. Okay, let's start talking about promotions here. So catalog price rules and cart price rules. So catalog price rules is when you'd be giving a discount across your whole store. So 20% discount on everything you want to automatically be applied. You can give a catalog price rule based upon a category or a type of product. So you could say all blue shorts are 20% off and do a catalog price rule on all blue shorts across the whole store. And cart price rules are your typical coupon codes. So these would be applied in the cart or the shopping cart. These rules would be applied there where you would actually have to enter the coupon code to see the discount. And then below here you have the communications, the email newsletter area. This is pretty good in Magento. It's a good start, but a lot of people tend to use something like Marketo if you're a little bit more serious about email marketing, or MailChimp or Klaviyo instead of using Magento's standard features, just to be able to up your game a little bit more for email newsletters. Advertising channels, you have Google Shopping ads here. Once again, it's pretty good, basic, standard Google Shopping cart, but Google Shopping ads can be difficult to manage and difficult to get right. It can be a lot of back and forth, making sure everything's set up correctly. So a lot of people that do use Google Shopping, they tend to use some outside vendor to kind of manage that for them here, which, if you want to try to use the Google Shopping, it does work, but there are other companies that just specialize in that do a really good job at it. So. And then your SEO search, these are things that you could apply across the store for your SEO, your URL rewrite, so kind of coming up with the right structure of your URLs, your search terms. So this is, I guess one of the downfalls of Magento is their search out of the box is not that great, to be completely honest. And you have to, if you're going to use Magento search, you have to manage it and manage the search terms and manage the synonyms and to try to tweak it to make it work right. We do typically, this is one of the areas with Magento, one of the first areas that we recommend our clients to use a third party for, just because once again, there are companies that just specialize in making the best e-commerce search out there, and they will get it dialed in for you without having you doing so much of the headache. And one of the things about search is it's so important because people are, from Amazon and from Google are so used to search working. So if they go to your site and they search for something and it comes back with 0 results, well, they're not going to think you have the product. They're not going to think that, oh, well, maybe the search wasn't working correctly. Maybe I should look further. So it's so important. So test out Magento search for yourself. But if it doesn't work that well for you, don't beat yourself up too much. I would just use a third-party vendor for this area. Standard sitemap for Google. Sitemaps are still important for Google search. They're getting less important as Google gets better at crawling areas, but it's still a good best practice to have it. User content. So all reviews, pending reviews. So this is Magento standard features, and I mentioned before Yotpo. So Yotpo has teamed up with Magento. They are an official partner, which is great, and they're going to do reviews a lot better than Magento standard reviews. They've gotten more expensive, but kind of like search, it's such an important feature of your store that if you're serious about it, serious about e-commerce, and it's a good revenue stream for you, I would pay the additional fees to get the best-in-class reviews extension, and they really are best in class. So there's a couple other competitors to Yotpo to look into as well, but Yotpo is really good. We've been using them for a while for most of our stores. And then customer engagement cloud. These are some additional features of Magento that we won't get into today. Okay, so let's jump into the next area, the content area. So this is we're going to manage the content on your site outside of products. So any pages, homepage, about us page, terms and conditions, and your basic templates and designs. So pages is going to be your about us page, your home page. If you click into here, you're going to see a basic motherfucker. Okay, sorry about that. Magento logged me out. It's a basic setting, a Magento security setting that they will want to log you out if you're inactive for a certain amount of time. You can extend this in Magento to make it a higher amount so that you're not frustrated like I was and get logged out while you're working. But you'll need it for basic security settings so that if you're logged in, that someone can't, and you forget to log out, someone can't hack into your store. But you can up the threshold to be something like an hour. Right now, this is a demo store, so I think it's a pretty low setting as far as them logging out automatically quickly. Anyways, so let's jump into the pages section real quick, just to give you a little view of this real quickly. And so it's basically a grid of all the pages that you have on your site. And so these are all the pages that come with the demo store. You'll likely have these plus a few more. But the 404 page, you can customize that. The home page, that'll be mostly banners and some other blocks. The enable cookies page to ask permission to allow users to have cookies, your privacy policy, your about us page, and your customer service pages. All pretty standard information here. You can change how many columns each page has. You can come in here and they have a basic, let's see which one I'm going to jump into. Let's jump into the about us page. They'll have a basic WYSIWYG editor. I tend not to try to do too much fancy stuff with the WYSIWYG editor because it can tend to not be formatted correctly or not work exactly as you want. Changing basic text is fine, and links and maybe adding an image or two, but don't try to get too fancy with this area. You can change your page title and your heading. You can do some search engine optimization stuff as far as changing your URL key and your meta title, your meta keywords, your meta description. What what sites your page shows in. So once again, if you have a multiple stores, is this About Us page relevant for all those stores, or is this one for one of those particular stores? You can change the design layout to multiple columns, a single column, or if you have multiple static page layouts, you can change it to be a different layout or a different theme, and you can set the dates for when it should be updated as well. So some pretty cool features in here, but semi-standard too. You also can go in here and modify the code if you're comfortable with doing that, which I think this is for me, because I know basic HTML, an easier way to change things without potentially having the WYSIWYG editor mess it up. And then other sections inside the content block you would have or the content section is blocks. And blocks are essentially different areas of pages that may be a banner or different sections of a page that would have different elements to it. Widgets are inserting different snippets of code onto pages. So if you have a map or you have related items, if you want to insert different widgets, they call them, but certain functionality into a page, you can do that with widgets. And then this design section down here is basically for you to change your theme's design, and to schedule when to roll out. In case you want to do like a theme for Christmas or Valentine's Day, you can create that theme and then schedule it to be updated on a certain date, which is great. So that's it for the content section. Let's jump into the reports area real quick. So the reports area, they have a lot of good reports, pretty good stuff here. You can customize the reports as well, but for us and for a lot of our customers, we tend to use Google Analytics, Adobe Analytics, BI Essentials, basically more advanced reporting than these tools. These are great for getting by, but if you like to dive into your numbers deeper and dive into conversion rate and funnels and different things to analyze fall off rates, these reports aren't going to get you all the way there. So, but you can definitely look at different orders or products in your cart. Since this is a demo store, a lot of these reports are going to be empty anyway, so I'm not going to really get into much of the details here. But then over here you have the advanced reporting, the BI Essentials, and the Yotpo Analytics. Basically, the Yotpo Analytics is just going to send you to Yotpo's admin panel, and they have some advanced reporting for their tools, which are reviews and customer engagement tools as well. So pretty cool stuff. All right, and so the next section is stores. We'll run through your stores real quick. And so this is your store configuration, and this will configure your stores if you have multiple stores or a single store. This area is pretty important for the first time setting up your store or stores, and so this will have all your settings as far as your shipping methods, your payment methods, who to be notified to for an order getting placed, or your transactional emails. So you'll definitely want to come through here. There's a ton of settings there's a ton of settings in here. So this first area is basically the different store views that you have. But I want to show you guys this section. This configuration area is the area that when you first set up your store, I would recommend just clicking through all these tabs and going through here and configuring everything. These are the sections that you'll say, okay, well, what countries do I want to my products to be sold into or allowed to be check out? And so you can configure all that here. You can name your store's phone number, the address. You can set up your transactional email. So all these, there's a lot of just kind of finer details in here. But what I would recommend is just walking through all these fields the first time, making sure they're all set up. Once you do it once, you should be good to go. You shouldn't have to touch it again. And then you have system. And this is a little bit more technical area, but we'll walk through it real quick as well. So you have your data transfer. This is if you're moving from another store. You can import customers, orders, products, all that kind of stuff into here. This is the import and export. What I'd recommend is, typically when you do an import, you're going to have a CSV file, and that CSV file needs to be formatted so that the import script can understand it. The problem is with the import file is a lot of times the CSV file is not formatted correctly and it will error out on you. So what I'd recommend is if you're importing customers or orders or products, create one of those products in Magento exactly how you want it set up, and then export it. And that export will give you the CSV file format that you can follow for the rest of your products or customers or SKUs or anything like that. So that's a little tip if you're trying to do the import export yourself. And then you can look at see which extensions you have. You have your cache management here. And so if you're doing a lot of changes in your store, either through your template or even product updates, Magento will cache that information on the server so that it can load faster for your customers. But if you made a lot of changes to your store, you can come in here and update the cache manually. It'll also there's different settings in each one of these, and cache and index management are very similar, but there's settings in these that it'll automatically do it every 24 hours or so. But if you want the changes to be done immediately, you can come in here and manually update your cache and your index. Your backups, this is very important. Make sure you're doing your backups on a daily, nightly basis, at least, in case you have attack on your system, or your site goes down, or it gets corrupt, or your server blows up. Anything can happen. It's always good to have some backups. It's also always good to have some backups offline as well. So make sure you're running your backups pretty frequently, just as best practices. And then your permissions. These are your user permissions. You see a lot of store owners, they'll create one admin account and give it to all their employees. This is not recommended with Magento. They do have different users. The different users, you can have different permissions. They'll have the logs of what they've done on your store. So if someone goes into your store and does some malicious stuff, you can see who it was. The other thing about it is you can limit what a employee sees. So if you have a new employee, they're not technical, they don't necessarily need to see all this stuff. So you can limit them just to the areas they need access to. So if they're just doing the email marketing, maybe just give them access to that. If they're just doing orders and order processing, maybe just give them access to that. So it's a way to kind of lessen the clutter and keep them focused. But it's also good just for learning too. So and then you have some bulk actions you can take here through your store and some other technical settings. And then we'll jump into this find partners and extensions area. This is really just a promotion marketing piece in the admin panel, but it's still a pretty neat feature of Magento. And we'll jump into the marketplace, Magento's marketplace, because that's actually a better area to go to if you're looking for extensions. And I'll walk you through that for a minute as well. But this section is more just an advertisement in your administrative panel, which is always fun to have. But but these are good things to talk about anyway. So Bolt, this is that we were talking about. Magento's checkout is not the best. So Bolt is a checkout add-on you can add to your store. This is a paid checkout. We have a free checkout enhancement tool. So either one you want to go with. They're also a good company. Ours is very similar. It's a free option if you want that as well at IWD Agency. Yotpo, as we've mentioned them multiple times through this video, they're a good partner of Magento to enhance the reviews. Nosto is also another good partner for Magento to do automatic related products, automatic upsells. They're based upon artificial intelligence, so they should be learning on your store who buys what's their demographic, and then try to promote different products to the right users depending on their demographics. Akeneo PIM, and so this is a product information manager. So if you have thousands of SKUs, Magento is not necessarily the best place to manage all that information. It just wasn't built as a PIM. So a PIM is built to manage thousands of products really quickly. It has a better user interface and it loads faster, all that kind of good stuff. So if you have thousands of products, Akeneo is a great one to use. Vertex, we had mentioned this a little bit earlier too, is if you have complex tax situations, Vertex is a great extension to manage those tax solutions for you. They're also a partner of Magento. The nice thing about Magento though, before you go with any of these guys, you can shop around. Most every major e-commerce vendor is on Magento. So you have TaxJar, you have Avalara, you have options. And so you can look at features and functionality, but you also can work with them on the best pricing as well. And then Dot Digital is a email marketing provider, and once again, they're a good one, but there's also lots of them out there as well. Okay, so let's just jump over to the Magento Marketplace and check that out real quick. It's marketplace.magento.com. It's really useful. This is a really useful area of Magento. The nice thing about using the marketplace over just using Google is Magento does a pretty good job at vetting extensions that come in and making sure they're compatible with Magento. And so if you're going to be shopping for extensions, definitely come here. They do the vetting for you. They make sure that the code is compliant and that it works. Trust me, we've put a lot of extensions through here and they've scrutinized us, which is good, right? They made sure that our code is compliant and that's easily upgradable. So here you can find a whole bunch of different extensions to add onto your store, such as like a multi-vendor marketplace, MailChimp, Braintree, Stripe, but they have thousands of extensions to be able to do basically anything that you want to do on your storefront. And this is similar to Shopify's App Store, but what's actually a little bit more unique about it is that a lot of these extensions are open source. So it's not the fact that you just install them and you have to live with whatever features of functionality that they give you. You can modify the extension to do whatever you want on top of that. So a lot of times you'll find, like let's just say a marketplace extension, and it does 90% of what you want it to do, but you want to modify or customize it to do the additional 10%. Well, then that's great. Install that extension, get your developers, and modify it to fit your needs. And so it's a way to kind of accelerate development and not have to always start from scratch, because doing a multi-vendor marketplace, there's a ton of pages and tons of functionality that is offered with something like that. So it's a way to accelerate development. This is, typically when we're working with merchants, will help them decide on, an extension like this to help them save money as they build out a marketplace or anything like that they're trying to do. Anyways, so this is a great place to come. They have the extensions, they have the themes, and they have the partners area on the marketplace. But cool. But yep, that's it for today. Hope you enjoyed the quick demo. I was hoping to make it faster, but there's so much in Magento that it does take a while to walk through it all. Hope you enjoyed it. Let me know if you like the content and what you'd like to see us cover in the future. Be happy to dive into any of those areas a little bit further if you found it helpful. Please like and subscribe to the channel if you like this information, and catch you next time. See ya. Bye.